Hi, Carol here. So to go along with the updated DIY Seek boxes that we have out now, I wanted to just go through how to use some of the stuff in there. I'll do two different videos, one for natural dyeing and one for hemlock printing. We chose these two techniques because they're a huge part of Seek Collective. So the first up will be natural dyeing. It's also a good thing to remember that natural dyes work on natural fibers. So cotton, silks, wools, for example, you're not gonna do this on something like a polyester. I should also say that for the stainless steel pots are best, and after you're done with all the natural dyeing experiments, you're gonna really wanna clean them thoroughly. Even though they are all natural ingredients, you just don't necessarily wanna be ingesting everything. Now I'll show two different techniques. The first one will be turmeric, which is a root. And it's really easy. The nice thing about turmeric is you don't need a mordant. So a mordant is something that you add that helps the natural dye adhere to the fabric. Turmeric will do it on its own, which is good to know. It will stain anything. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the fabric I'm gonna use wet. I let it soak for a little while, and so I've had this soaking for a little while. You can use it and just have the whole thing be solid yellow. Today I want to do a little tie-dye. So to prep the fabric, I'm going to use rubber bands, and I'm just going to tie it in certain places to create a pattern. To create the dye bath, you're going to want hot water, and you're going to do this over the stove top. I'm just outside for this today. You're going to add a little bit of turmeric powder. And so over the stove top, you're going to have this be lightly boiling. I usually let it boil lightly with the fabric in there for about half an hour and stir occasionally. So this is one I did the other day. And you can see the pattern I created. So I tied it in like this, and I did rubber in here, here, here. After you're done with the dyeing, you're gonna take it out. It's gonna be all tied up. You're gonna rinse it with cold water, take the ties off. I usually then let it dry for about 24 hours before I give it a good wash. So that's a really easy, simple way to do a natural dye. The next natural dye that I'm going to show you is using flower petals. It's not really a technique we use at Seek Collective, but it's a technique I really love, and I think it's really fun. For these, you really need to use a mordant. So alum is a great one for natural dyes. You're gonna soak the fabric in water that already has alum in it, which I've already been doing. I would soak it for about half an hour. Then once you have the fabric, in this case the bandana, you're gonna lay it out flat. And this is really the fun part, because this is where you can take the flower petals and scatter them around. So in the Seek boxes, you're gonna get marigolds and roses dried, but you can also use fresh petals. I really encourage you to start experimenting, add other flowers in if you want. Today I'm gonna use this little weed. Also, I'm gonna add it in. I'm gonna try using some Icelandic poppies that I've been growing in my garden. I also have pincushion flowers. I grow black ones, but there's no, the black ones are sort of like a deep burgundy. There's none of those, but I have this color, so I'll try that out. I actually have fresh rose petals today, so I'm gonna put those. And you're just gonna scatter everything. gonna roll the fabric in on itself. So what I do is wrap this in around a glass bottle. Once I've done that, I'm gonna take rubber bands again to hold it in place. Now for this type of dyeing, a steam bath is best. And what you need for that is if you have a pot, you fill it with water at the bottom, and then you have a strainer like this that you can fit inside. Make sure there's a top. On the stove top, you're gonna then put this in here. Bring the water to a boil covered and let it steam for about 45 minutes at least. Once it's done, you're gonna let it cool down because it will be really hot, and you're gonna undo it. And once you do that, you'll have kind of an interesting pattern. This one I did only with marigolds, so it's a little bit less exciting, but you can see there's all these little textures and patterns that come up, and the more flowers and different flowers and colors you add, the sort of more magical it becomes. There's sort of an array of things. We've also going to be including madder root powder, and that's going to yield beautiful shades of red and kind of almost pinky red shades. And you can, with madder, you're also going to want to use the alum. The box comes with 2 bandanas, but you also can use, if you have clothes that you're sick of that are you just want to bring new life to, it's really fun to over dye them, to tie dye them. They become a whole new product again, and you can, even if it's just a t-shirt or sweatpants or a silk shirt or button down, whatever it is, as long as it's cotton or silk or wool, you can do it and create really beautiful patterns, new colors. I think natural dyeing is such a beautiful process, and it's an ancient process.